Okay, guys, I'm here to give my review of SummerSlam 2003 for the SummerSlam Review Series. This is the 13th SummerSlam Review Series. I have 15 more of these to go, I believe. Or something. I don't really know. Maybe I have 14 of them, I don't really know. So this will be going into the month of September, so, which is fine by me. So, this took place on August the 24th, 2003. This took place on Vince McMahon's birthday. Oh joy! From the America West Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. For some reason, we start the national anthem, which is sung by Leonard Garcia. Now, I have no problem with that. I just wish there'd be a reason for it, because SummerSlam at this point is not being treated like WrestleMania. They've never really treated it like WrestleMania 2015, and that was only by adding the extra hour to it. So, you know, it's just a random thing. That only WrestleMania starts with stuff like that, so it's kind of out of place in the context. Opening contest. World Tag Team Championship match. La Resistance versus the Dudley Boys. Not a good tag match here. It's 1.5 stars. It's a below average tag match, even though it does use the traditional tag formula, but a Dudley Boys match with the generic tag formula works better with Devon being the face in peril instead of Bubba, because Bubba's the bigger of the Dudleys. Interesting that the Dudleys are back now. That adds some uniqueness to the tag team division that's so desperately needed in that. Imagine if they faced a New Day at Night of Champions. That could be an interesting little match. Anyway, La Resistance win when a cameraman hits Devon in the back of the head with a camera. And that's how La Resistance win. The cameraman turns out to be Rob Conway, who would become a French synthesizer. Oh yeah, because I forgot to mention this. Well, I might have, but La Resistance were created because America was upset that France decided not to help America out in the Iraq War because they themselves disagreed with certain aspects of the Iraq War. To each their own, they're entitled to that opinion. You know, the Iraq War is something I'm not going to get into because that's way too political, and I'm not going to get into it. But that's why these exist. So naturally, Rob Conway siding with the French guys, even though I think that they're actually both Canadian, but I could be wrong. Sides of French, so logically he's a heel now because of that. I like that. 1.5 stars. So then we get Undertaker versus A-Train. Yeah, Undertaker's in the second match of this card. And this is not that good of a match either. It's 1.5 stars. Taker wins with a choke slam. Not much happens here, honestly. There is some psychology that A-Train works over the ribs of Taker, but A-Train's got Sable out with him. Even though Sable's on the cover of the poster of this show, that's all they did with her here. They could have had a rematch of her and Stephanie from Vengeance. Probably would have been much more entertaining than some of this. 1.5 stars. So then we get a match that was not this until it started. A no disqualification falls count anywhere match between Shane McMahon and Eric Bischoff. Oh yeah, they decided to do McMahon and Bischoff in 2003, but not the right McMahon. This match should have been Vince McMahon versus Eric Bischoff, and I think it should have happened WrestleMania 19 and save Hogan and McMahon for WrestleMania 20. Because I've always maintained that there would have been money in 2000. Well, after you brought Bischoff in, Dudley could have got money from a feud of him and Vince meeting in a match. I think there would have been enough interest for it to make it a viable thing. And heck, make Paul Heyman the guest referee or add him to the match, make it a triple threat just to get the ECW people in there. But this is a 0.5 star match. It's basically until Jonathan Coachman interferes and turns heel. Shane basically beats the tar out of Eric Bischoff. Coach eventually hits Shane with a chair, which the referee goes to DQ Bischoff, and then that's when Bischoff makes it a no DQ Falls Count Anywhere match. And then they cut JR and King's mic off. Coach takes over. Austin eventually comes out, and Coach, being that Austin can't touch anyone else, he's basically both says the "I'm not touching you" thing. But then Shane pushes him into Austin, which is a physical provocation. Austin hits him, and then Shane takes Bischoff's hand and slaps Austin in the face, which gives Bischoff a stunner, and then Shane does the leap of faith through the Spanish announce table, gets the win. That's all that match was. Literally, that's it. The random heel turn of Coach that made no sense, especially being where it's led to an Unforgiven with Coach. Half a star. So then we get one of the 2 good matches on this show. In fact, the 2 best are right now. Next match, fatal 4-way match for the WWE United States Championship. Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit versus Tajiri versus Rhino. This is a 3-star match that needed more time than it got. Because this could have been better if it had more time. I think it's a match just under 10 minutes long, but if it had more time, it could have been very better if given at least 5 more minutes. There could have been a lot more here, because this is a very good match for just around 10 minutes. It's a 3-star match. There's a thing here where Eddie's got the lasso from El Paso on Tajiri, but at that time, Benoit's got the crossface on Rhino, so Eddie's got this look on his face. Does he try to get the win, or does he try to break up Benoit's submission? Well, Tajiri gets the ropes, and then Eddie breaks up the submission. There's a spot where Rhino goes for the gore, and Eddie puts the U.S. title in front of him, so Rhino gores the U.S. title. Benoit and Tajiri eliminate each other, and then Eddie Guerrero frog splashes Rhino for the win. Like I said, 3 stars. So then we get the WWE Championship match. Probably the match that this show is most remembered for, as it's Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. This is a 5-star match, and I think it's Brock Lesnar's best match he ever had in terms of storyline, selling, and stuff like that. I think this is Brock's best match he actually ever had. Like I said, this is a very good match. There's a thing here where Angle works over the ankle a lot constantly. And because of that, Lesnar eventually does hit an F5, but he does it on one leg, which is a brilliant selling move. Angle eventually gets the win by making Lesnar tap out. Then he angle slams Vince through a chair on Vince's birthday. Well, there's a happy birthday for Vince, isn't it? So, of course, these two also, I think, a couple weeks later had that 60-minute Iron Man match on SmackDown where Brock won the title back. So, then we get a no-holds-barred match. And that's the thing, this match also was not originally a no-holds-barred match till right before the match started, as it's Rob Van Dam versus Kane. 1.5 stars. Not a good match. Kane controls... It's pretty much a glorified squash in a lot of ways. I mean, Van Dam gets enough offense in that it's not, but it's still pretty much Kane's almost always in control. Kane gets the win by tombstoning Van Dam on the steps and then rolling Van Dam in. 1.5 stars. So then we get the main event of this show, the second ever Elimination Chamber. As it's an Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H versus Goldberg versus Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Nash. And this is probably the weakest Elimination Chamber in the entire history of the Elimination Chamber matches. This is probably the weakest one of the entire bunch. This is not a good Elimination Chamber because, one, the wrong guy won. Okay, Goldberg should have won this over Triple H. Triple H, for starters, was injured with an injured groin muscle, and he spent the majority of the match in his pod. Because when he came out, Shawn Michaels super kicked him, and he just laid in the pod. You know, Michaels, Jericho start off, then Orton comes in, Nash comes in, dominates for a little bit, goes to jackknife Jericho, and then Michaels super kicks Nash. And then Nash, before he leaves, power bombs Jericho and Orton, while Michaels super kicks Triple H as he's coming out of his pod. Goldberg's last out, and Goldberg dominates. He spears Orton, eliminates Orton, spears Jericho through one of the pods, spears and jackhammers Michaels, spear jackhammer for Jericho, eliminate both of them. And it comes down to Triple H and Goldberg. And Goldberg should have very clearly won the World Championship here instead of the next month. But Triple H said, you know what, I'll drop the title to Goldberg when I'm healthy. Instead of actually saying, I'm hurt, I'll drop the title and then let me get the rematch so you know a much better match when I'm not hurt. No. That wasn't Triple H. Oh, no. Triple H, Goldberg goes for a spear. Triple H hits him with the sledgehammer that Flair had thrown in, gets the win, and then Evolution beat up and bloody Goldberg, and that's how this show ends. Yeah, 1 star. Wrong booking decision. And, I mean, Jericho, Michaels, you know, and all that, they're good. But Kevin Nash, not to mention, this is Kevin Nash's final WWE match appearance until the 2011 Royal Rumble. So it's quite a while before I have to talk about Kevin Nash on any WWE-related thing ever again. Unless I do a retro review, of course, with him on it. So, yeah. Goldberg, this is very clear. Goldberg should have won the championship here. It never made any sense to me why Goldberg lost. Why Goldberg did not win the championship here. Because, one, SummerSlam is a bigger show. It's arguably the second biggest show of the year behind WrestleMania. It would mean more Goldberg winning here than winning at a throwaway, non-important pay-per-view like Unforgiven, which is where he won it at. So, yeah. So, out of 35 stars, this show gets a 14. So, it's a C- because it's not quite in the C+ range, or even in the C range. And honestly, if it didn't, and that's where it's going to stay, because without the U.S. title match and that WWE Championship match, this show would be a total pass. But I will say, at least watch the WWE Championship match on here. It's a very good match, and it's Brock Lesnar's best match he ever had. This will be in the Survivor Series Review Series playlist. Next up will be Survivor Series 2004, which is a forgotten SummerSlam now, because it's probably SummerSlam that never happened due to the main event of it. So, last time a guy named Chris Benoit was in the main event of a pay-per-view on WWE Network, WWE Network totally screwed it over to make you not watch it. So, I'll review that show if it ends up doing it on WWE Network. I'll review what I can of it and then do the rest of it from some kind of a memory or something like that. But I'm worried about that show on WWE Network just because I have experience with Benoit main eventing for the World Championship. Now, since he lost, I don't think it'll be a problem, so I hope it's not. And that review will be up tomorrow. So, if you like the video, like button is down there, subscribe button is down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.